All right, hi, Paul Slack is, well, I'm going to say Pause the World for Peace here, Peace Day Party, 9-21.org. But I'm also going to say Unify. And we have a wonderful representative. If not, I'm not sure if this is her title, but executive director. Are you executive director? What is your title? Tammy L. Michelle Scarlett.
It is
What's your
executive
title?
director. Yeah.
I got it right. I don't usually get things always right, especially things like that. And working with Tammy is just super. And she's so special and she's very, very smart. So listen up here because she has very wise thoughts about life and about how to do nice things in the world of media and emotion, a lot of good stuff. And what are you doing? You're in, well, you're usually here in America, but you're away in Italy right now, in Europe. What's going on?
Yeah, I and my family have been in Europe for about a month, and I'm currently speaking at a series of events, some conferences, some academic conferences, mostly presenting the impact portfolio or representing the impact portfolio or members of our ecosystem that are either, with Unify, the Holo movement, or impact portfolio.
Okay, so look at what a professional is. She gets right to it, and then she doesn't continue talking like I do. What is an impact portfolio?
Well, an impact portfolio with a lowercase I and a lowercase p is typically something that maybe a family office or foundation has. That is the portfolio of projects or companies or endeavors that they have going on that are specifically related to impact and for which they usually measure what impact is happening in the world, what they're accomplishing for impact. And that can be through nonprofit organizations, or that can be with for-profit organizations that they're looking at impact. What we decided to do was create the impact portfolio as a model that can be applied. It's for collaboration, for increased efficiencies and increased effectiveness for impact, regardless of if you're a for-profit or nonprofit organization. And it happens cohort by cohort. So you can do it with a group of other members, or you could, if you were a family foundation, you could apply the model to your currently existing portfolio to be able to garner higher efficiencies and higher effectiveness for the world. So in this case, it's a capital I and a capital P impact portfolio to, like I said, garner those efficiencies and effectiveness by way of collaboration. And utilizing these higher intelligences that are available to us. We want to use the best of what humanity has available to us to be able to accomplish what we're capable of accomplishing.
Okay. All right. So we're getting a little buffering here because you're in Sicily and everybody's eating great Italian food. So, but I can hear every word you're saying. It's all good. Now, back to our story here. So, is the word, and I'm going to go right to that word because it's a powerful word, impact. And I don't know necessarily, it sounds to me like a newer word in today's business jargon. Not that it hasn't been, but fully. So impact, does the impact mean success? Does impact mean awareness? Does impact mean bottom line, make money? What is affected the way people are going to live? Is it all of that? And or is it impact that it's not a good thing and it's a terrible idea and you're ruining people's lives? What does it mean?
No, so impact, yeah, historically, I guess before it was a buzzword, impact could mean something negative. For instance, with a car accident, right? The greater the impact, the harsher the outcomes or results. But in this case, it's become kind of trending when we're looking at the global societal landscape and various sectors like public sector, private sector, where these things intersect. Impact really means how we're making a difference to move humanity forward, humanity on the planet. And right now, the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals that were put forth by the UN, are the most commonly accepted language for how to gauge or how to not gauge progress specifically, but how to identify which areas we're trying to gain progress in. The lack of uniformity around how we're gauging progress within those lanes, the 17 SDGs, is actually part of the challenge that we as humanity have before us for perhaps, contributing to why we're not able to garner greater results than we have seen so far. And that's something that the impact portfolio is, trying to affect change within.
Is this your concept, you, Tammy, concept of what you're talking about? Is this something you've created? Are you the author of this story?
I don't know if I'm the author. I put it together, and then a bunch of people around me, I think, were also, getting downloads, if you will, or feeling this kind of buzz coming up from the earth, whatever it is. That's how people receive their information from the field of potentiality around us, get those ideas, and then turn them into real manifest reality. For me, it happened when I went to Davos in January of 2023, which was quite by accident. I had just kind of Googled about Davos and World Economic Forum and thought with UNIFY, this was something where UNIFY has always played in the global landscape. We've been at the forefront of these global synchronized meditations and events. We've been unifying these global movements. Paul, we've worked together so many times in the past because of that around Peace Day and Earth Day. So I thought this would be wise for the UNIFY team to be able to hear a little bit of what's going on behind closed doors at WEF, at the World Economic Forum, so that we would be able to contribute more powerfully to those global conversations. So I signed up UNIFY to be able to have virtual access to select meetings at the World Economic Forum. And when I did that, they requested my passport information. And about 5 minutes later, I got an email from them with a QR code and an address for where to report to in Davos, Switzerland. And I was like, well, that's a fluke. That's super random. This was 1 week before the Economic Forum, by the way. So I just kind of brushed it off and went about my day. But then my next 3 meetings in a row, someone in the meeting would say, oh, and next week I'm going to be in Davos. Oh, by the way, next week I'm going to be in Davos, totally unsolicitedly, not things that we were talking about in those meetings. So I was like, I think I maybe need to pay attention. So the third meeting, I said out loud, okay, hold the phone. What's going on? What does one do in Davos? What do I need to prepare myself? And the people that I was on the phone with were explaining to me about being in Davos and that you go the first time just to kind of get the lay of the land. And at the same time, while they were talking, I was looking at plane tickets. That, by the way, last minute, if you're trying to get to Davos during the World Economic Forum, you're going to pay a pretty penny for it. Like the plane tickets round trip from Chicago to Zurich were like $3,000 at the terrible routes and cheapest that you can get. And there was one of those little guys that was like, one ticket left at this price. That was a round trip ticket from Chicago to Zurich. That was $492.
Whoa!
And I blurted it out. Yeah, I know. I blurted it out loud because I couldn't believe it. And the person on the phone with me said, I pulled out his credit card and said, I'm buying you that ticket right now because I think that God wants you to go to Davos. So he
Wow.
bought me the ticket right there. I still didn't have a place to stay, and that's also a challenge because last minute, you might pay $3,000 a night to couch surf in Davos. It's extremely ridiculous. 70,000 or 75,000 people descend upon this town of 5,000, so there's not really room for everyone, and you do have to pay a premium to find a space. But Sherpa Rinpoche, who's building the Universal Peace Sanctuary there in Lumbini, Nepal, at the birthplace of the Buddha, he actually had multiple offers of places to stay, being His Eminence. And I was working with him on his core team for the Universal Peace Sanctuary, and so he gave me one of his places to stay. And so it just kind of all worked out. And I found myself there meeting fund manager after fund manager after fund manager, A thing I did not know was not specifically common. I thought this must just be what you do. You go to Davos and you just meet like 100 fund managers. This last year when I went, I don't think I met a single fund manager. But the first time that I went, I did. I met so many, and I kept hearing from them their challenges and what it was they were trying to accomplish in the world, the barriers to them achieving the things that they wanted to achieve with regard to the advancement of the funds they were managing or representing, whether that be for profit or impact or both. And then I would go completely juxtaposed to that into these rooms where some people had paid, these exorbitant amounts of money, $50,000, $250,000 for some stage time to present a wildly specific solutionary idea to an audience that may or may not be positioned to do anything about it. Even if there's an investor in that room, maybe it's in their wheelhouse, maybe it's not. So you might have 60 people or 100 people as an audience, and maybe one or two of them are a match of some sort for the thing that you're presenting. And I thought, I think I am witnessing the great mismatch of my lifetime. Like I can't actually fathom that this is how we're doing it, how we're trying to solve the world's problems and match up with one another, match the funding with the things that are the innovations that can move one another forward, and that all those innovations are so wildly separated. A magnetic car system to reduce traffic in Shanghai, right? But I guarantee you that there are things that that team was learning in their R&D, all their development, all their research, all of their prototyping, all their processes with working with at the state level to get things approved. I guarantee you that there are things they were learning that would have been very, very, very valuable to people in completely different industries. And my background has been very cross-sector. I've worked in executive management in different sectors since I was young. I started in management when I was about 16, and that was in retail, and I worked in mortgage. I started my own mortgage company when I was 24. I was the director of admissions for a large East Coast university. I've worn all these different hats in management, and then I did an MBA in economics and global strategy, and I got to see how these kind of templates for functionality exist regardless of what the industry is or what the framework is. So when I saw this happen in Davos, I thought I had a great time there. A lot of great things came of it. But when I got back, it just was something was off, and so I had to process it for a while and see. I just wanted to think through what might be possible. I want us as humanity to be able to use everything that we have available to us. I want us as humanity to be able to quantum leap, to move forward exponentially from where we are. And I think we're capable of it. We have more solutions available to us than we are actively utilizing. And much of it is because of a lack of organization. There are many contributing factors, but at the very least, we can take the kinds of intelligences that exist in the business sector and apply them to the ways that we're moving humanity forward. These efficiencies that happen automatically because of the driver of profit. Whether or not the profit is there doesn't change that a certain method of progress, efficiency, effectiveness works between humans. So we can apply these things in other areas. And additionally, we can collaborate in ways we already know. Resource share, and in some cases data share, works really well. We've seen it in MSO models in healthcare. So we can take that model and start utilizing that also in humanitarian efforts to be able to see increases. So that's what we have set up in the impact portfolio, and we are moving that into beta this next month.
Do you have a so when's the book coming out, and when's the about this whole concept, and do you have a website, or what? How do you work then with a nonprofit? How does that go to help them?
Yeah, so couple questions in there. So first, I do have a book coming out actually but it's not coming out till next spring. It's called Birthright. And it's not specifically going over all the aspects of the impact portfolio, but it's definitely going over some of the societal pivots that are available to us as individuals, as groups, people groups, communities, and companies or organizations, that where we can be, I think, utilizing those intelligences and regular old actions that are available to us right now on the planet to be able to level up, regardless of what area it is that we're working on in life. So yeah, keep an eye out for that in spring. It's called Birthright.
I felt it. I felt
With
it.
regard to the impact portfolio, yeah,
I,
I'll give you, there's going to be a teaser too coming out with specifically, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I felt it. I either felt it or I was gonna say, come on, Tammy, get the book out there because this impact portfolio is a big win. It's today
Oh,
consciousness of improving our lives and the type of person you are to have the sensitivity as well as the business ability is going to really help a lot of people. You're like a consultant's consultant. I know you. You're like very smart at these things.
well,
You're
thank
really
you.
smart. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, I am excited for the book to come out, and we are preparing a teaser for it right now that includes 5 steps that allow, and I don't know what we're going to title it, but it's going to be basically 5 steps that allow an individual to kind of reclaim their birthright and to execute some of those steps in their business or organization. And it really, in an energetic sense, is a way, a practical way, but very simple and very elegant for people to be able to bring in that balance of masculine and feminine to every area of their lives, because we want like love and gentleness and belonging and all these things. But we also want to be able to move our businesses forward so that they grow and they monetize. We want really to be in states of symbiosis energetically. But how do we do that? How do we pattern and interrupt these other ones that are so linear and sometimes so janky and sometimes so exclusive, where we're not really fully connected to everything around us? So I'm excited about that. You can keep an eye out for that teaser. That'll be coming out in the next like 60 days.
I like the having interviewed thousands of authors. A 5 or a 7 of something is very helpful for people because if they can even get and then you have even a little poster or you have a thought for the day, that really helps others to organize themselves. So yeah, that's good. You're thinking on that line for your book because those are things that also media people such as I and our CBS 60 Minutes or big time, major network media or just the social networks. Those are the kinds of things that people can tweet and tweet X, whatever the heck. They can, get it out. So great, great. I'm very happy. But my other question was, yes, I do ask about 80 questions in one question. So my second question is, so how does, nonprofit XYZ get to work with you? What do they do? Do they call you?
Yeah. So, well, right now, we essentially, we say we're looking for 3 things, right? We want to be working with data and media partners that work specifically with global data on some level or global media on some level, because we are building our media studio and data collaborative to be mindful of global scalability so that so we can get to that. We're trying to collapse time and wave function and move humanity forward. So we want to be able to grow into this rather quickly, not too quickly, wisely quickly. And so we are looking for those partners. We are looking for funders. Our first fund that we're raising for right now is a $100 million fund, and that's poising us to move also with the scalability into the billions within about 24 to 36 months after Our fund manager is Ed Burke, who is a former global managing partner at Accenture. He has 25 years at Accenture. And also his firm developed Accenture's performance management systems and software. So that's also very, very helpful for the impact portfolio. So he's helpful with the fund management, but also with some of the data and metrics and in general. Speaking of consultants, that's Ed all day long. So we are looking for those people in the world that are they know that their job is to be the benefactors for moving humanity forward on these large scale systemic changes that are going to allow effectual change for every organization that's trying to do something good. We want to change the ways in which we're doing things, not just the linear A to B metric here and there. So the idea is if we change the systems, then we can do more than just clean up X number of bottles out of a river. We can perhaps change the system that allows us to exponentially clean up all the bottles out of the river and solve for inequality and all these other things with the same core actions. And then, so the third thing then would be that we're looking for, besides those data and media partners and philanthropic benefactors and investors, would be the members. And we are just in the beta cohort stage. It will be about tier 3 before we are ready to take on additional members. But at that time, it will be through application. So essentially, somebody would need to show, an organization would need to show, here's what we see that we're doing in the world. Here's the ways that we're trying to upgrade what it is that we're doing in the world. Here's the ways that we're willing to work with other organizations. And then we would assess what kind of a cohort that could go into. But also there are groups of organizations, like I said, who may want to just apply the impact to its portfolio of organizations, whether that's a foundation and they're all nonprofits, or whether it's a portfolio where they're all for-profit, corporations. It really wouldn't matter, because you would be able to apply this model and see the efficiencies and effectiveness increased across the board. And our projections are extremely conservative at 20% increases from going through this 18-month model.
So listen, everybody, this is the way you start a business. I want you all to listen very closely to what Tammy has to say. I mean, having people apply, these are, very smart approaches to make a successful business. She's taking her methodology, she's taking objectives. This is drilling down into the potential of business growing right up front, and so I'm very impressed with your approach to creation, and it's sort of like fitting from when selling clothing at 16 to working your way into other things. You're staying on track with and not moving off of it, because now this is like a side job to UNIFY of sorts, or maybe it's the main job. UNIFY, I must say, it's a monster organization. They've had some great success. I mean, we partnered, they got 2 billion views on a Peace Day event. Yes, someone put in a couple bucks to help to make that happen, because you got to spend a couple bucks to get those Facebook ads and however else they went about it. But they succeeded. I have the letter. It's in our package here, our deck of the success, and they have 2 million plus followers on Facebook. Something is it going up more than that? I mean, this is big business. And what I love about it is that it's good business. And I don't mean just good business, I mean it's good stuff. It's meditation, it's yoga, it's kindness in all walks of life, very spiritual, and it's not hurting anybody. It's only helping people. Tammy, you're fantastic. All right, well, is there any other websites or anything you want people to know, to go to, that we should share?
I mean, I think, yeah, you could come to websites if you want to check out my work. You can find me at tammyscarlett.com. UNIFY is at unify.org. Our Facebook handle is facebook.com/unify. So very easy to find us in those spaces. We do have 2.3 organic, fully organic Facebook followers. I really think, Paul, that right now is a juncture on the planet that is just a time for innovation. It seems to be kind of bubbling up in everyone, and people want to be ignited with the things that light them up in the world, that they want to collaborate, they want to come alongside other people where they can have a shared purpose. And uniquely, what I've observed these past really 2 to 3 years, maybe post the global change, the global shared experience, is that people are more poised towards collaboration without having to have a specified predetermined outcome. So I'm even seeing that in the business world, where people will go to conferences and then they'll just find some kind of similarity or like kindredness about one another, and they'll want to collaborate on something. And so they'll set up meetings to establish a collaboration without even having identified what the outcome would need to be. And that's not, if I backed up to like 1988, like that is not going to happen. So the fact that that's happening right now in the world, I feel like is really indicative of what it is that we're ready for as humanity. So every person, listening to this podcast or hearing this message, I would just invite you to lean into what it is that's trying to light up and ignite in your life right now. You don't have to be the maker of some put it on the map innovation for your innovation to really make a mark. Sometimes it's the ways that we're showing up in the greatest subtlety that have the greatest power. And that could be the way that you're treating the server where you're out to eat, or the way that you're interacting with your kids. But it also can be ways that we're interacting with one another through collaborations that we didn't even know were possible before. So just keep your eyes and heart and ears and mind open, and allow yourself to light up and glow and grow. And then here we go in this transition of the planet. We can do this together and be all that we can be together, and see what we co-create. So that's what I'm here for.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to ask you one last question. So, Mom, which is a beautiful thing. What is peace for you? What is peace for Tammy Scarlett?
Well, I tell you what, when I was younger, I used to think that peace was like the absence of war. But I have done some, I guess, inner work or something in my life that has taken me through different moments of really sitting with my own aspects of self, my own archetypes, my own differences within myself. Some people might say shadow aspects of self or whatever, just kind of getting it all out on the table so that I'm not scared of anything any longer, and really leaning into connection with all things, like everything, the cosmos, the good, the bad, and the ugly of humanity, the planet, like all the things that I would think are inanimate, and therefore I think they're nothing. But then to understand that they're not nothing, because the molecules and the atoms that they're made up of are actually the stuff that I'm made up of, and so we're the same. And starting to have that kind of recognition has brought me to moments where I can connect, or I can't say I can, it's not like a light switch thing. I've had the opportunity to connect in such a way that I felt a profound sense of safety beyond my human lifetime existence. That sense is probably the closest thing that I can come to peace. When I think about war, when I think about things that are happening that are atrocious to mothers and their babies, and things that should never happen on any of our watch that happen in the world, then I think about that place. And that is what kind of brings it all home for me. How do we make decisions from that place? How do we make decisions from the that light spire of a reality that's possible when things are built on what it is that we value most inside, whether or not we've had the opportunity to build that into the fabric of society. But how do we do that in subtle ways from right where we are? That's what I see as peace.
Okay, and we're going to pause the world for peace on September 21st, 12 noon, as declared, as asked for in the resolution at the United Nations. And for 22 plus years, we've been promoting this 12 noon International Day of Peace, ceasefire. And let's all do our best to try to see that that occurs. And UNIFY is the perfect partner to help to make that happen. It is time. It is time for us to all be thankful for life and the beauty of it all. Tammy, thanks so much. I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Blessings, everyone.
Okay, ciao.